Hi everyone, thanks for joining. This is a topic of how to prepare a property tax protest and win. The first thing to know, as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed assessor or agent. I cannot and I will not represent you in your protest, and my software does not do so either. So all of this is just advice from one person to another, and that's it. There's nothing else to it, and I'm not liable for any losses that you may take, for example, for following the advice, so on and so forth. That said, 3 principles for a strong property protest case. First, they are wrong. Prove that the county's facts are wrong. So they're going to come in with a bunch of numbers, and your goal is to get rid of all of them. Second, build your own case. So have your own numbers based on facts and be able to prove that you have a strong case as to why your numbers are right. And then finally, 2-on-1. Once you prove your case, then you bring in a third-party valuation that aligns with you. So that way, now it seems that the county's wrong because there's two organizations, essentially you and your third party. So third party might be a Zillow, Redfin, Bloomberg, whatever. As long as they can put a number on your property and say that you can say that, hey, the county is significantly higher than what this other organization that doesn't have a dog in this fight is at, then you're good. So how do we actually do this in practice? They are wrong. The first part is to knock out every single comp that you can. So what that means is you want to look for big differences that prove that the property that the county is using, the comp, is not actually comparable to yours. So the general appraisal concept here is that you should match houses that are as close to to being like similar and identical to each other as possible. So in other words, like if you have a house made in 1970 with the exact square footage as your house on the same street with the same size lot, then you would assume that those houses are very similar. And what the county usually do is they pick, because it's a computer program, they pick houses that actually are like that in theory. The problem is that the houses that sell are usually in the county are usually remodels, and so usually those houses will be something like, oh, it'll say, yes, this house was built in, let's say, 1980, and so that's not too far away. Let's say if your house is built in 1970, it's only 10 years away. But when you look at the details and you look at that house built in 1980, you find out that, oh, that house was actually remodeled drastically, let's say 90% rebuilt in 2008. Well, hey, that's a totally different house now, and it should never have been used. Now, the county can't say that you're wrong because they didn't have that information to start with, so that means that, all their information is wrong, and therefore it's a lot harder for them to argue against it. The other thing that the county does, besides picking remodels, is that they weaponize the elderly. So what do I mean by that? They oftentimes, you'll see a house that it has never been challenged or protested, and so the value goes up exponentially within a few years. And what you often see there is that either obviously either there was a protest and it was unsuccessful, meaning that the person who did it didn't know how to protest, or there's no protest at all. And what they're doing is they're actually doing that with the people who are least able to, for example, go on the internet, right? Because the people who own those